Welcome back to Optimize Health, where we're making easy, healthy, and delicious meals. Today we are doing a salmon and bok. Bok choy with some exotic mushroom blend and chives. So we are prepping up our bok choy. I already got started with the base of the bok choy, and that's been cooking for maybe 10 minutes and really tender now. I'm gonna continue slicing up the leaf portion so that we can add that to the pan and get them nice and tender. I have some chives here that I think is going to be a nice flavorful addition, and I'm going to add those as well since they cook up kind of quick too, so I held off until a little later to add them. So I'm just making sure these are kind of smaller to medium pieces, making sure they're similar in size so that we can cook things up evenly. So I'm just going to add this to our base. And then some of our chives go on in here. I have some more that I'll use for our salmon. So I'm cooking things separately, cooking these veggies that are going to need more time. I have a separate pan I've heated up for the salmon. I've put aside a little bit of just a white onion, just a basic, it can be like a white or yellow onion. You could use red or whatever you'd like to add a little more flavor to the salmon. I'm gonna dice this up a little smaller. So I also wanted to add just a clove of garlic. Let me grab that. All right, a little bit of garlic. Chop that a little smaller. Okay, so I'm gonna put the onions in the pan first. It's preheated with some olive oil. So we're gonna try to get these nice and hot, sizzling. Making a nice base, and then adding the garlic kind of on top. I'm trying to, so that it doesn't burn, so it can get kind of bitter when it burns. And so I'm gonna put that back on the heat. We're gonna add our salmon in just a minute after this has a second to start to cook up and release some good flavor. We have this really beautiful salmon fillet. So I've just laid the salmon fillet on top, and I'm gonna let it kind of cook in with that nice flavor. It's at a medium heat right now. Putting the lid on. In the meantime, we can chop up our mushrooms. So we got this really pretty assortment of mushrooms. I think this is a trumpet, I believe. Then we have blue oyster, and there should be some regular shiitake in here as well. So this is the blue oyster mushroom, and then shiitake. So we're gonna slice these up and then get ready to add those once the salmon is cooked down a bit more. And just for aesthetics and presentation, I'm gonna try to slice them in a way that you can kind of appreciate the mushroom structure. So I'm gonna cut them like this way. Let me see if I can put some of these back in the bowl. Take some out as we go here. Alrighty. Sometimes I try to cut the stem in half at least because they can be kind of tough and not cook down as well as the other components. If it's a thick stem, some of them are not so thick. So this might be pretty to cut like this way. Okay. Some of these little guys. And this nice trumpet mushroom, so pretty. Try to slice it a little bit thicker so we can get the components of the stem and the flowering portion. And didn't work out quite as planned, but I think we'll still be okay. Slicing it this way now. And if you have a bigger mushroom that may be a little tougher with a thick stem, it might be good to go ahead and add some of these bigger pieces first. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that so things can cook a little more evenly. So I just spread them out in the pan so they can cook up a little more. And then we just have a few more left to chop. We're also gonna add some chives, some green onion. And I'm gonna save a little bit of chives for the presentation once we plate this one. That's really stuck in there. Okay. just a few more. That's actually one little mushroom. Okay. Beautiful. So some chives. I actually really like doing the bulb, kind of slicing it thin, and it'll cook up really nicely too. And you can put that aside to cook longer. And then your green stemmy portion you can chop up as a decorative portion. So I'm actually going to save these for on top, and I'll give them another rinse just so they're food safe to use on the cooked meal. Right now our fish is looking really good. These other mushrooms are cooking up well. So I'm gonna try to add the ones we finished chopping. And I think we just have a couple minutes on the fish. I'm gonna get some of the seasoning together and we'll have this cooking up while we are seasoning. Gonna keep it at a medium heat. Okay, so we have our salt. I put about half a teaspoon total to season everything in the fish pan. I'm gonna add these little onion bulbs here to the fish pan. Put this aside for a little bit later. And we've got about half to a quarter teaspoon of ginger. You can use fresh ginger. Try to get more of that on top of the fish in there. Garlic powder. Gonna use about half a teaspoon of this as well. Generously on everything. And I'm thinking maybe I'm gonna try some spicy cayenne, but just a dash of it though. And as we're getting things cooked up here, we're going to add the gluten-free tamari soy sauce. So I'm just gonna put a bit of this in. That's gonna also add some more salt. And our last greens we can put on top here and put the lid back on the pan. So this is what we've got cooking up, and we'll be back with updates. This is just kind of on a slow burn in the back, softening up and gonna be ready in maybe 10 minutes. You should talk to your doctor, healthcare provider, or veterinarian to see if any of these recipes, suggestions, or contents of these videos are right for you. Nothing contained in these videos are intended to be taken as medical advice. Use at your own risk. All right, so we're back now. Our bok choy is cooked up well. We're gonna use this instead of a base of rice, so we're gonna have a pretty healthy serving of the bok choy. I'm just gonna add a dash of balsamic vinegar to give it a little more flavor. I've already salted and peppered it, and I'm also putting a little bit of garlic powder to add some flavor. So just a little bit of balsamic, and you can just kind of mix that in. And then our fish and mushrooms is looking so delicious. I split the fillet so that it'll cook a little more evenly through the middle. The mushrooms are all cooked down. We added about 1 tablespoon of tamari. And the spices you already saw go in. It was pretty basic. We did some sea salt, ginger powder, a little bit of garlic powder, and it's been cooked with some chives and some onion. Alrighty, so we're gonna get our plate made up over here. So we are putting a base of Bok Choy. It's seasoned. Okay. Then our beautiful mushroom. I'm gonna add on top here. The nice soy sauce and onion base here is gonna add some really great additional flavor into the bok choy. So I'm trying to get a nice variety of all the mushrooms we have in there. And then I'm gonna transfer the filet over. And you can never have too many mushrooms, I don't think. The last touches are gonna be, I have this seaweed and sesame seed blend. It's a blend with black and white sesame seeds and little sheets of little squares that they chopped up of seaweed. It's really pretty, and add some more flavor. And then I'm also gonna add in a little bit of these chopped chives. Just makes it pretty. They can fall all around the plate and on top. And there you go. We cannot wait to try it. I hope you guys try it. Let us know. Please like, share, and subscribe. And we'll be back with something delicious next time. Thanks.